You go to stand up after a heavy set of squats, and your knees sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Or warming up for the bench press, and that nagging, cranky shoulder starts acting up again. The immediate reaction is to blame the calendar. We assume our bodies are like cars with a finite amount of mileage, and every heavy lift is just another mile toward an inevitable breakdown. But biological systems adapt. That cranky feeling usually isn't permanent structural decay. It is a simple mismatch between the heavy load you are lifting and the current tolerance of your tissues. To fix this, we use a three-step method. Assess the real threat level of the pain, prime the joint with targeted blood flow, and adjust the resistance curve. Mastering these steps means you can stop resting phantom injuries and start actively building resilient joints. To understand why joints hurt, we have to look at how tendons and ligaments are built. They are made of dense, twisted structures that physically restrict rapid nutrient delivery. This creates a severe lag in recovery. Your muscle bellies are packed with blood vessels and can recover from a heavy session in 48 hours. The white, avascular tendons attached to them process that same mechanical stress much slower. When those under-recovered tendons ache, we usually misinterpret the signal. We tend to view pain like a doorbell. If there is physical damage, the bell rings. But modern science uses the biopsychosocial model. Pain is actually a complex network of nerve signals. The volume of that alarm is controlled by several different inputs, not just physical tearing. If you are dealing with high systemic stress, sleeping poorly, or carrying anxiety about a previous injury, your nervous system becomes hypervigilant. It turns the volume of that pain signal up to protect a joint that is simply fatigued, not broken. To figure out if you are actually injured or just fatigued, use the intra-workout filter. Notice how the joint feels. If the discomfort fades and feels greased up by your second or third set, it is very likely safe to train. If the pain is sharp and worsens with each rep, pivot to another exercise. Next is the 24-hour rule. Notice how you feel the morning after a session. General stiffness is standard tissue adaptation. A sharp wince when reaching into a cupboard means you overshot your load tolerance. Applying these two filters allows you to train straight through transient stiffness. You remove the psychological fear that every ache is a structural tear. If your pain filters indicate that a joint is just stiff, your next step is a pump primer before touching a heavy barbell. Because connective tissue lacks natural vascularity, you have to artificially force blood into the area. This raises the local tissue temperature and increases elasticity. For example, if your elbows protest during heavy bench presses, start your workout with light tricep cable pushdowns. If your shoulders are the bottleneck, run through some light dumbbell raises to fill the deltoids with blood. The setup is strict. Aim for 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 25 repetitions. Keep the weight low. Do not push these sets to muscular failure. The goal is to achieve localized blood flow and then stop. Adding unnecessary fatigue defeats the purpose. This brief primer takes the joint from a cold, brittle state to a warm, lubricated one, dropping your risk of an early set injury. Even with a primed joint, certain positions carry higher risks. In any compound lift, the joint faces maximum mechanical stress at the very bottom of the movement, in the deep stretched position. To train hard while protecting that vulnerable angle, use accommodating resistance. By attaching elastic bands to the barbell, you alter the weight as it moves. You anchor them securely to the rack so they pull downward against the bar, adding tension at the top. As you lower the weight into that deep stretched position, the bands relax. The total load lightens exactly where your joints are most exposed. This chart shows the difference in resistance curves. Instead of a flat load, the dynamic curve increases resistance as you push up. You exert maximum intensity at the top of the rep, where your joints are stacked, stable, and capable of handling it. Accommodating resistance lets you push high neurological output while mathematically capping the mechanical stress on your joints. Step 1. Assess your pain with the 24-hour and intra-workout filters. Step 2. Execute a high-rep pump primer. Step 3. Rig accommodating resistance to manage the load. Adopting this protocol builds movement optimism. You realize your body is not a machine wearing down. It is a living system that constantly adapts to the stress you give it. Training into your later decades does not mean avoiding heavy weights. It means intelligently adjusting the load to match your connective tissue's daily tolerance. Drop a comment below and tell me which joint always gives you trouble and how you currently train around it. Hit subscribe for more evidence-based strategies and keep the conversation going with your body.